Oh, Charles Oakley. Oh, Charles Oakley. Here he go again. I was watching him on all that dialogue. He's still talking greasy about Charles Barkley, Isiah Thomas, and Dennis Rodman. Man, he won't say nothing about James Dolan, but he sure got a lot to say. Well, now, what does Rodman, Barkley, and Isiah have in common? Well, they're all kind of like indifferent where Michael Jordan is concerned and all that. And Jordan Oakley's like the henchman for Jordan. He's still being a great friend and all that, but you need to let this stuff go. He old enough to still be talking about those cats. They're all Hall of Fame or something that he'll never be because he was up there begging that maybe he could consider for Hall of Famer. Well, you were never better than Rodman. You tried it in Chicago. They couldn't win with you. They gave you to the Knicks. You still mad at Patrick Ewing. Oakley's like that big old bully who still be, crying about stuff. Look, I respect his hustle and what he did. I respect what he's accomplished. However, I'm gonna be hearing him crying about these guys. Just say you don't get along with and let it go. But you always want to run your book and run it down. We know about Isiah Thomas not being likable and all the stuff he did. However, no matter how you cut it and slice it, he should have been on the dream team. And no matter how you cut it and slice it, your good old friend Michael Jordan had a say in that. This is one of the reasons why I don't subscribe to the Michael Jordan fan club because he's better than LeBron and he's one of the greatest and I hold him in high regard. He's also irritating. For crying out loud, yeah, you had a say about Isiah Thomas. You didn't get along with him. You say what you say, but everything you say ain't the gospel. And I get so tired of that mess coming with Jordan and all this. Yes, Jordan was the reason why Isiah Thomas wasn't on the Dream Team. It was political between Jordan and David Stern. They didn't want him on there. So because Isiah had more rings than most of those cats that were on there. And he had as many as the Jordan and Pippen had when they got on there. But that's not what it's about. So when people tell you it's all about winning, it's not always about that. But here Oakley is still talking about Isiah Thomas or something. And then Charles Barkley, he's always got something about Barkley. Barkley's on TNT, great career, etc. Barkley was a Hall of Fame player. You still try to bully him up, try to all that. You've always just come across kind of like you wanted to be elite. You were already cool with Jordan and you made way for yourself, did well for yourself. So what are you on about still picking on these three for? Rodman's always been Rodman, great player, and he was a winner. And he helped your buddy win rings because that finals against Seattle, to me, he will always be the MVP of that. Regardless of his personal attire or whatever he did, that's that man's business. Sorry about the episode in the restaurant when he acted crazy, and he's always been that way. But hey, Rodman is Rodman. But when you got somebody who's still holding on begrudgingly, that's why you can't stand the thought about when cats talk about the new school holding and being the way they are. Well, you're not a role model because you're still talking about the same old thing. You need to be talking about how that white man had you thrown out of MSG. James Dolan had you escorted with them bodyguards who threw you out like yesterday's trash, glad bagged you, and dragged you off the stadium. That is far more damaging than anything that Isiah, Barkley, and Rodman could do to you. But but no, you want to still talk about them like they're some trio, like they're the OJs or something. Like you the member who couldn't get in. Charles Barkley, Dennis Rodman, and Isiah Thomas ain't thinking about Charles Oakley like that. But, whatever happened with Jordan, I don't have no problem with Isiah still being mad with Jordan because he had every right to be. He should have been on the dream team. Y'all ain't got to be all bosom buddies. Should have been on the dream team. I always will say that, I always will. And two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, Isiah can be funny time and all that, but he was great enough. He should have been on the dream team. Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest players ever, one of the most unique players ever. He did his thing. He understand marketing. He did his thing. So why are you tripping? And Charles Barkley did his thing on and off the court. People still pay to hear what he got to say. So stop being a hater, Charles Oakley. You can be Jordan's right hand man, and you can be his bodyguard wherever you want. But these cats, hey, they still good. They still left their mark. So don't trip. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share the video if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.